Hey, Mr. Gannon. It's been a long time.
Yeah, hey George. It's been a while. I think our last code sesh was about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We took
Okay.
a week off for the holidays, but it's good to be back.
Yeah. It's good to have you here. And I think this session we can continue that we started in the last session. So uh, after we have starting the Docker, right? And and have some issues about indented code to start the correct the Postgre server. Sorry, I think that we can start to work on Rails. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got our database set up.
Yeah,
We got it linked with Docker and everything. I think we're totally ready to write our first models and get our first tests
yeah,
written up for them as well.
yeah. I think that that's a good start. Okay, let me. Uh, I think that it's a good size the test, right? I think that you can
Oh, are you
see.
sharing?
Yeah, I was sharing. Just 1 second.
There it is.
Okay.
Yep, I can see it now. You got
Yeah.
Firefox on the left and your terminal there.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, Let me enter in the folder project. Wally. See if the Docker is running. No. No. Docker compose up. Ah, right. Wally Rails. Wrong folder.
Yep, got to be in the project.
Yeah. Yeah. It's running. And if you if we start the Rails server, uh, we don't have the gems. Very easy to fix it. Just run the bundle. Yeah. So if you look visit localhost in the browser, yeah, Rails up, and if we Rails info routes, yeah, we have this
Sweet.
suite is working, but
We are
we don't have any database, right? Any model, anything that we need right now.
yeah, this is just the default Rails
Yeah,
that we're looking at here.
yeah. Okay, I will enter in the code editor here and let me see. I think
Looks like we
that,
don't have a spec folder for our spec.
yeah, but let me see the database configuration. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, right now, uh, we can start, for example, think that um, we have the deer here. Yeah, I think that we can create this account type model. What do you think?
Yep, sure thing.
Yeah,
We might even have time to do that and the account model today.
yeah, because it depends of the account type, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's go ahead and start with account types. I see it has a name column, so um, that's a potential test we could write just to test if the name is readable.
yeah, and test if the name is it's we need the presence
Test
of
that
the
it's
name
valid.
for an account type, right? So I think
Yeah,
that
do we want to add any validations on the name?
yeah,
Um, you know, maybe set that it's only text and a couple certain symbols like hyphens.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So
Maybe set
uh,
a maximum for it as well.
yeah, we have the lot of validations that you need to do in these entire models, but just to start, I think that we can start with the basic models, account types and categories. What do you think? I think
I hear you. Yeah, since those are the smallest
yeah,
and the most top level
yeah.
models that we have.
Hmm. I think that we can
Sounds
start with.
good.
I think that we can start with account type model and show the process of the how the TDD works, right? And to do that, uh, we need add some gems on the Rails project to we can work with TDD, right?
Yep. Yeah, we'll want to add our test group in the gem file
Yeah, we
so that
have
within the testing environment,
yeah,
perfect. Development and test should work.
yeah, but
So within that block, we'll want to add our spec block.
yeah, but there's some gems on the that we have or we mostly use only in the test mode, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, so
yeah, good call. Want to
yeah,
keep them separate. No reason to load up our spec
yeah,
in a development server.
yeah, that's right. Uh, with my sample notes here, I think that the main gem that we need to install in the development test group is um, the gem called RSpec Rails, right? With this gen here, we can run the bundle again and install. Cool. And can initialize the RSpec. So Rails generate RSpec install. So with do that, we can see that create a folder, right? And two configuration files. So we can see
Beautiful.
here. So basically, in the Rails helper here, we have a configuration that's very useful that the line Rails root glob RSpec support sort of any file that you have in this folder called support. Uh, it's a it's a good thing to because some other gens that we use have a specific configuration on their spec. Of course, you can put all the configuration inside this block here. It works, but it's not a good practice, right, Brad?
Yeah, as you add more and more configurations, this
Yeah,
file would get longer and longer. So it's definitely best to just add a folder to the support path. Sorry, a file to the support path for
Yeah.
each gem that you're trying to configure.
Yeah. So, for example, we with this basic configuration, we can use bundle exec our spec, and you can see we don't have any tests. Of course, we don't create anyone, right?
Yep, it's just a confirmation that it's installed correctly.
Yeah. Okay. I will create the folder here, support, and
And then,
I think the very useful gem is a gem that we can see a report for the code coverage of the tests because
simple plan.
yeah, simple cough, because it's good to know how much the code is covered by the tests that we are working, right?
That's right.
Because we can say, okay, we tested the system, but uh, do do you really test the system or something that okay you just did the uh, happy path and the and the sad path you don't test it. So this is a tool that we can use to see how is the coverage of the test. So in certain terms is the quality assurance of the test itself, right?
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's especially useful for these newer apps
yeah,
because it's easy to stay on top of your code coverage. As we write one test, we'll hopefully have 100% code coverage, and then being able to do it little by little as we go
yeah.
will keep our app covered.
Okay. To put the simple coverage or the report coverage, we can use gen simple cough and inside the group test. No problem. Uh, with this, we can create a new file inside the support folder called coverage, right? And
And that's where we'll.
the
Do we not
configuration,
want to call it simplecode.rb?
yeah, we can. No worries about it.
I like being more explicit in
Yeah,
what the file is
yeah.
working with.
Okay, it's a good point. Good point. And, okay, so first of all, in this file, we are require uh, simple cough, right? And simple cough dot start, we can use Rails. I write in this code because, as anyone can see here in the cough GitHub, uh, we have the documentation, the basic configuration, and then think that you can read with more details and do the stuff, right? So just these 2 lines is the basic that you need to to make the report of the code coverage work, right? But I do like do some customization. One of the it's avoid some folders that you don't need to visit because we don't have tested right there, right? So
That's right. Like the bin folder, maybe the public folder. Um, and how about assets? We are. Oh, you know what? We won't even have an assets folder
yeah,
because this is API only.
Yeah, we don't have because it's a API project, so the folder doesn't exist. So public, um, even
config, do we want to ignore the config file?
the spec, you don't need coverage for these folders, and don't need coverage for the request for the RSwagger documentation, right? But we can group some tests for categories. For example, models is all that reference the app models. Group controllers, app controllers, and that's it.
We won't have any views. I mean, if we plan on, we might have some serializers. We might want to add that.
Oh, in the future.
Generally, in
yeah,
API app, you'll have, instead of having models, controllers, and views, that's what you would have in a full stack app.
yeah.
In these API apps, you would have models, controllers, and then serializers is kind of like the front end of an API. It might throw an error because I don't think we have that serializers folder yet. But
yeah, but we are created because we had active model serializer, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the first config of the code coverage, and we can continue. Oh, okay. So we have the framework for the test, we have the report for the tests, but we have ensured that the database test is clear for running tests, right? So we have a gen called
database.
clear database, right? This gen is database underscore cleaner active model, right?
Is it active model or is it active record?
Sorry, active record. You're right. And
check here. Yeah, active record.
And install.
And it looks like we only need it in the test group. I don't know if you put it with the development.
Yeah. But it's okay. And we need to add some configuration. We are creating inside the support folder, we create the database cleaner RP. It's okay.
Perfect, yeah.
And inside we have RSpec configure config database cleaner allow mode database URL. It's important from the future, right? We can ignore this line, but in the future it's a very useful. Okay, before suite. So
is line 2 is useful for
Docker.
If we're running it in CI.
Inside in Docker, if we put this project in the future, we are create a Docker container that we can run this project inside the container. We can edit it as we did right now, but it's not running in the terminal. It's running inside the Docker. So that's the idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's why we use this line here. Because of course, when you create a container for this project to run in Docker, we have to do some changes on database configuration, but it's very easy, right? Database cleaner, allow, sorry, strategy, it's running transaction. And before I start this suite test, so here we start this gem and config after each test we can call it database cleaner.clean.
Your auto linter doesn't seem to understand Ruby.
What?
The auto linter that you have, it just looked like it was formatting the code weird, but you got it.
Yeah, so before I start the tests, right? We have a suite of tests, so we can create a set of the tests inside a file. So before the RSpec run the suite, the database cleaner enter in the game, and okay, we all work on database, so you use this transaction, database transaction, right? And he start the monitoring the transactions and the operations that we have in the test, right? But after each test that we are running, after run, we clean up the database to guarantee that any test creates something that maybe affect other tests, right? So we isolate each test.
Yeah, we want each test to be isolated. Yep.
Yeah. So
that
that's
they can run, because we'll probably have them running in a random order.
Yeah. Oh, so to run in the random order, I think that inside of the spec helper, yeah, we have, we can comment here, comment these lines, and see.
What are we disabling these lines for?
It's not necessary.
Obviously,
right.
we're removing the seed.
Yeah, it's not necessary right now. We just guarantee that we are running tests in random order, right? And to guarantee the random order, we use the operating system itself to generate a random number, right? So instead you can use --seed, but now is the default behavior is running random seed test, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know running them randomly is a good way to check if you have any flaky tests or any tests that depend on one another.
Yeah.
Having them run randomly will catch that.
Yeah. So that's another configuration here that we can comment right now, because the default format is doc. For us, is not at the moment is not important. The default format of the test, right? Just run the test it's okay. Okay, so we have database cleaner, we have simple conf, and I think that we need for me is very useful, Jen. that it's a linter, right? It's a linter for the code, so can check the code that we're writing. And this gen is Rubocop, right? Rubocop.
Yep, Rubocop.
Rails. OMA case.
Oh, I haven't heard of this OMA case.
Yeah, is the GAJ settings. Gen Rubocop.
And we'll also need the base Rubocop, right?
Yeah, with Rubocop spec require false. Okay, and one more useful gen that
we'll want Rubocop Rails as well, right?
Yeah, this is Rubocop for entire Rails, and this is the
From
Rubocop for
case.
Yeah.
And then you also just need gem Rubocop, don't you? Isn't that a dependency of these?
No. With the OMA case, we don't need it. The Rubocop itself.
Oh, okay.
It's already included.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And of course, we can use. For me, is a factory bot Rails. Create factories of the models to use on the test. So for me, it's a good gen. And another gen that I like to use is Faker.
Yep. Faker and Factory Bot are both great for making test data.
Yeah, you guarantees the everything is working. So you can run.
Is that a typo on the Faker gem? I saw there's 2 F's.
Just 1 second. 2 F's? No, it's okay. It's right. There's a gen called Faker.
I thought Faker just had with the 1 F.
Yeah, no, Faker gen. It's a refactored Faker.
Oh, this is a different one. This isn't the base.
Yeah,
base Faker.
It's the usage is the same thing, but the difference that the argue is that some tests that you use in the APIs, the Faker is more slow, something like that. So that's why changed it to Faker, right? Why is a forker initial writing 3 for the speed up, slow spec suite. So it's
okay.
Yeah, it's okay. If it doesn't work, we can just remove one letter. It works. Yeah. No.
It'll be an easy thing.
Yeah, not.
But yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like it's faster for the APIs. But
yeah.
Can't hurt to try.
Okay. Installing Rubocop. Great. And install it. And finally, we need to create a file here. Call it factory bot RB to support can enable in our spec tests the use the factory bot, right?
Yep. We'll have to include the factory bot module, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So factory bot syntax That's it. Very useful, very clean, and
A very simple
yeah,
setup there.
yeah. Okay, right. It okay. If everything is working, we can exec their spec and no issues. Continue working. Great.
Awesome.
So, and then I open new session on the Tmux to anything there you see. Okay. So to create the model account type, we have just two columns, right? One ID, one for ID, and one for the name. So ID, the Rails generate automatically, right? So we have just account type with the attribute name, right?
Yep. So we'll just want to run the generate or write the generation for that.
Yeah.
Or the oh my gosh, the migration. That's the
yeah.
one I was looking for.
Generation. We can use Rails generate, but we can suppress model. The model name is account type with name to chip of the string, right?
Yep. That's good. And this might create some test files. Nope. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. We can feed it into Star.
Yeah. He creates a migration file right here. They create the model, and in their spec gen creates the test, and the factory bot creates the factory to create random account types, right, on the test.
That's awesome.
So if you running right now the test, we see that, whoa, we have a problem. We don't migrate the database, right? So to do that,
yep. It looks big and scary, but if you read the error, it just says to migrate the database. That's doable.
Yeah, we can drop database, create database to guarantee that for the last session. Okay. And after that, we can call Rails db migrate. Awesome. The table is created. To see if it is created, just run the console. Account type.
Want to explain this? No, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, we have the table, and we don't have anything inside the table, right? So we are running the. We don't have any account type, right? So basically, we make sure that the table is created, and we see that the table don't have anything in the database. And if you are running the test again, bundle spec, we see this message. Well, AccountType add some examples or delete for the
tool.
Looks well, and as we can see, they create a subfolder called coverage, right? With this,
looks like SimpleCub is working nicely.
Yeah, so with this we can open
oh, there's a terminal command to do it quickly, actually, with SimpleCub. If you just run run open and then space coverage / you're opening in the coverage folder, there's a file called index.html.
Yeah.
Yep.
But here in Linux, we don't have the
Oh.
open comment.
I see. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work on a Mac.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No worries, man.
Was
No worries.
used to the Mac command.
Yeah, no worries.
But this works too, yeah. Opening a file from the browser is the manual way to do it.
Right. So develop. Personal. No, develop. Wally. Wally Rails. Total difficult. Let me change to the second screen. Just oh, better. File, open file, personal, Wally, Wally Rails, coverage. You can open right here. So
there it is. Much easier on Mac, I must say.
Yeah. So here we have the tests. You can see the details. Okay, we don't have anything in the model, so that's why we have.
Yeah, sample cut is awesome. It shows you every file in your app that it tested, and it shows you which lines were hit and which lines were not hit.
Yeah. And as we can see, we have a tab here called controllers, models, and serializers. Just like the configuration that we did it in the coverage. So the other things we can, or we have also, we start with 15% of the coverage. Not bad.
Not bad. Which at the beginning, of course, it's going to be low because most of the code is stuff that we're not testing. As you can see, the files that it's covering, application job.rb, we're not going to be testing that file right now. Same with application controller. Ideally, we won't even be adding much code to those files.
Yeah, I think
so we might not need.
Yeah, because we don't need the action cable, for example, because we don't integrate with the front end, right? Directly, we don't have any view on the project. Application cable connection is the same thing. Application controller, of course, we need it. I don't know if we have in this project some sidekick jobs or.
We may end up adding jobs in the future.
Yeah. And the mailers.
The thing.
We can use
the mailer
for user authentication or stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to use the mailers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It might be worth it to ignore these files because I don't know what you think, George. But
we can
ideally, you never add code to application controller.rb, right? Unless it's something that's like a very base level method that's going to be ran across like every page of the app. You know what I mean? But in the future, if we do have some code that we think needs to be used by multiple controllers, it's best to create a module for that, right? Then we could have that module tested individually, and that keeps the application controller.rb file clean from code.
Yeah, you're right. So that's why we have just 2 lines of application controller, and we don't touch in this file, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So we can probably ignore all the application files. We could ignore application mailer, application job.
Yeah. For this, you're right. So of course we can ignore this test because we don't need to test this, right? So just keeping them like are now, and no worries, right?
Exactly. We can just ignore them for now.
Yeah, yeah, we can ignore. So back again to the code editor. We have the test from the factors. So we have the factor for account type, right? Uh, One thing that we always create account name, call it my string, is not okay. So require.
We're wanting to use faker here, right?
Right. So uh, and we can use name faker name on dot name. So uh, so, so this we
I
are.
wonder, so name.name is going to generate like a person's name. Do we want it to be more of like a company's name? Right? Because there might be multiple users using one account.
Yeah, so that's why we can go to the.
Yeah, in the docs, I'm sure they have
Yeah,
API reference.
that's right. So effect check the list, count missing, to repeat use meta for instructions. We can use unique names, unique utils clear.
If it's the same as Baker, we might want to go to the
Yeah,
original
it's the
Faker
same.
gem.
So I think that we can visit the Faker project itself, and we have the.
Yeah, because on the Faker README, on the original repository, they have almost all their
Yeah,
possible methods.
yeah.
And I want to say there's one that's like fakercompany.net.
Oh, Faker.js? No, it's not Faker.js. It's Faker.gen. Ruby Faker, right. That's right. Faker is a port for the purse. Imagine that. Okay, we have faker name, address, or we can see the list of the generators. For default, we have, for example, company, commerce, company, and company name. So we can change it.
And obviously, it doesn't matter functionally what name we generate here, but it is nice to have it match the data that we are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more concise. This, or make more sense with this. You're right. You're right. Okay. We have the model. To the guys that are seeing this live, is something that we can test in the Rails console, right? So require Baker, and we can use Baker commerce company name. So love shields. If you run again, it's a random name. So that's the reason that we use Faker, right? Okay, go to the tests itself. So first of all, I think that we need to. I created some comments here that we can. Okay, first of all, test if the factory is working. So it's valid, right? We need to test if the account type has a name, right? And we have the test. I think that these two tests is good to start, right?
Because yeah, I mean, we can imagine any validations that we would want to add to it. maybe we set a max characters of 50 characters or something.
Uh,
But
yeah,
that would be something for the future.
yeah. I think that maybe that's because we need a fail if the account type, sorry,
If it has, if it
not
has no name, fail.
yeah, has no name. So if it has a name, because it's valid. So I think that's the two tests that we have uh, right.
Yeah, that should be fine for the
Yeah,
top level model here.
yeah. So I create a session called described, and we see uh, model validations, right? Uh, we can
Yeah, it's always best to use the describe blocks to
yeah,
group your tests together.
yeah. I think that before each test, before do let we are create a subject that is how is the method that factory but create, right? Create
Yep, create, and then you'll say account underscore type.
account type, right?
And why don't we? I
I
have
think
seen this subject
yeah,
syntax used before, but why not just call it account type? Let account type
yeah. I
be
think
create
I
account
I'm
type.
thinking right now, and I think that we don't need the before section. Why? Because we have the test the factory. It's okay. It's the first test, so
Mhm. Yep.
but to test if it is invalidated if it don't have has name, we have to change uh, the great
We would
comment.
have to use
Yeah.
fill.
So
Fill.
I think that we don't need the before. So uh, just write the test itself. So it's valid. Do
Or maybe it has a valid factory, right?
yeah,
Because that's the first test we're doing.
yeah, right. We can do
Right.
and you can create directly account type equals no sorry let account type
Well, we can't use let inside of if blocks, so we might not need it for this test. I think it's fine for this small test that we just create the variable directly.
yeah yeah so
But yeah, let can only be used in a describe block, right? Because you're
yeah
creating
if you
variables outside.
you're right if we using the same variable for the that's in multiple for the each test it's let
Exactly. Yeah, that's what you use let.
yeah in this case not so account type equals create account type and just count count is valid, right?
Hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's valid.
I mean, that would pass true, but to make it more readable for our spec, we might want to use the expect syntax.
Yeah. Fact count type to be
And then be valid. Yep. I love these R spec helpers
yeah
that make it more readable.
yeah.
And you'll just have that, you have that extra space after the expect. You can delete that.
What they saying here
But
we don't use
right after the word expect, we don't need that that space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, it's expect is a method, right? So it's you call expect and then you pass it the argument account type. Yeah, there we go, with the parentheses attached. Yep. There we go.
Yeah. And of course.
Well, let's run this test actually. Proper TDD will want to run the test between every change, right?
Yeah. So we can run spec just the models we can use.
Yeah, we don't have any other tests, but
yeah, but one test, it's passed.
It passed.
Yeah.
We got a nice little green dot. Ah, the green dot. Gotta love it.
Yeah. We can change it. That we can use the other form. For example, we can use format doc, for example, and we have here model validations as a valid factory. It's a on a way that we can see the same results, right? And
yeah, format doc is awesome because it's also when the test suite is more fleshed out.
Yeah,
this shows us a rundown of what the test is doing, and it also kind of acts as documentation for the app.
Yeah.
Right here we can see that in the case of model validation for the account type, we need to make sure that it has a valid factory. It's a nice intuitive documentation.
So yeah, to more as default format, right? We can open this file rspec, right? And -- format doc.
Oh, awesome! So these are I haven't used this .rspec file. These are like
so
pre-built arguments.
Yeah, if you run the rspec right now, we have the format document as default output for the test.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And are they still running randomly as well?
Yeah, it's running. You can see the seed is different, right? We have this seed 11933, and we have this other seed here 52712, and that's it. So it's totally random.
Love to see it.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's our first passing test.
Yeah, it passed. So let's create the test that need pass. So it is invalid if missing the name, right? So
that's good.
So account.
We can remove, just for readability, we can remove the it from the name of the test, because you can think of the it method call.
Yeah.
That's like the beginning of the sentence.
Yeah. No worries. And account type name equals new. So we guarantee that we don't have name here, right? So we have expect the account type to not to be valid.
Yeah.
Right?
And we'll want to use the build method from factory bot instead of the create method.
Because to keep the same syntax, I think that you are.
Well, create actually commits the transaction to the database.
Yeah.
And if the model is invalid, then that will raise an error.
So
That's why we use build,
yeah,
because build uses .new, and .new just kind of like makes the object, but it doesn't try to save it to the database.
yeah,
In the first test, we can use create. That's fine, or build. It doesn't really matter for that first test.
yeah.
But when it comes to when you're
But we,
validating names, validating columns, you want to use build.
yeah, yeah. Good point. Good point. It's make more sense. All right. So we create the test. We run the test, and oh, it failed.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What are you missing? We missing the model validation, right? That's why.
That's right. We haven't actually told Active Record how to validate this model yet.
Yeah. So we open the account type model, and we see that we can use validate presence of the column name. If you run test again, it passed.
And it's all green.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, sweet. Sweet as a honey.
Yeah, sweet as honey. All we're missing now is a stat path test.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. So we have our model working, tested, and what is missing here? I think that
Well, some would say that we want a stat path test, but it might not be necessary since the invalid if missing the name test. That kind of is a stat path test in a way because we're using not to be valid, right?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe not. Never mind. What do you think is missing?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So we conclude for now we have these tests here, and as we can see, we reached 20%, and we can see
Awesome. I code covered one up.
yeah, and you can see that the test hit this line for one time, but it's okay. We have just one test.
Yep.
Yo.
Right. And we hit 20%. Awesome.
Yeah.
What I think, I would, if I were developing for my job, this would be a time where I would commit. I'd create a git commit at this point. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. So, let me.
Good to commit often, they say.
Yeah, we have a lot of comments, but we can use a tool called a lazy git. You know, for me, it's the best tool that we have.
Yeah, lazy git is awesome.
Yeah,
so nice little UI for git. It is important to know the console commands though first before moving to a GUI like this.
Yeah, we can use this, or we can use RPG. Okay, you can git status. We have a lot of views here. We have in the master. Man, master branch is
That's
not
okay.
good. Yeah.
What's good about that is we can show what to do now when you do work on the wrong branch. It happens all the time. What we can do is we can stash everything that we've changed and then switch on over to a new branch and apply that stash.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world.
But because the file is not committed yet, and just we can just check out develop. We don't have, so it's a good point. Create a new one.
Yep, git checkout -p.
Develop.
Oh, slight typo.
Yeah. Okay. So right now we can use git status, and we see that all the files is changed, and we can add all git add dot. So if you see, all the files are now,
Get status again.
yeah,
Awesome. I wanted to double check that the coverage folder was being ignored. It looks
yeah,
like it is already in the ignore file, so that's great.
yeah, that's why we ignored, because we are writing the here we have the you can see that the folder is because here in git ignore we put the coverage folder to be ignored by the
There
git.
it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think covered the gem does that by default, right? We had to do that manually.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah, we started with the suggestion for the GitHub. So awesome. So git commit dash m fit add account type model and tests, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would write.
Yeah, I need git configure here. Just a user mail. Just 1 second here. Git commit. It's okay. So we can right now it's in the only local machine. We need to publish this to the GitHub. So git push origin develop.
Awesome. I don't think we're about ready for a pull request yet. I would wonder what you think, George, but I think maybe the first pull request into master will be when we write our first endpoint, when we actually have a JSON response.
I think that we can work on the developer branch, right? Until we have the first MVP. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think that when we have the first MVP, we just merge to the master to develop.
Absolutely. Okay, so more than just one endpoint, but when we have a nice functioning MVP, we'll deploy.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's a we have the master branch as the branch that you are currently in production, and the developer the branch that you are developing the things. But of course, in this example, we don't have anything in the production, so that's why I think that the master is more clear or clean without code, right?
Yep, absolutely. That makes sense. We can make it so that master only has working releases on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Okay, so that's it. We have 1 hour section right now.
Yeah, the time flew by.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was good. I feel like it was a good session today. We showed how to start up RSpec. We showed how to use the Rails generator to generate a model.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great start.
Yeah, it's a great start. So next, I think that we can think about the serialization model, and of course create the first controller, right? I think that's a good start to next section.
Okay, so you want to do, I hear you. So you want to establish the account type feature more instead of creating the other models like
yeah,
the transaction type model.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. But of course, we can just create all the modules that we have, and after that we start creating controllers. no problem with this flow of the work. No worries about it. But
Either way,
yeah,
either way it works.
yeah, it other way
Well, sounds
works.
good. Yeah, let's do that next time then. Next week we'll start adding the controller and the serializer for the account types model, and then we'll try to create an endpoint
Yeah,
to create.
yeah, because after that we have one thing to see. Even the browser, we see some results, not only the
Right.
code.
Oh yeah, we'll be able to start working in Vue then as well.
Yeah, because we have
Front-end.
if we have the finished the account type, okay, we can start working on the front and create the account type code on the front end. And
Great idea.
yeah, I think that's a good
Yeah, because that
start.
way we can make sure that every step of the way, the front end and the back end are communicating with each other properly.
Yeah, yeah, I
Because it
think
could, if we develop the back end very far without developing the front end, it might cause complications. We'll probably run into a situation where we need to change the back end.
yeah, and that the idea is something that you are increasing the development. So something that we start in the back end on point, go to the front end, implement the things on the front end to work with the back end, go back to the back end to create a new model or a new feature, visit the front end, and do the cycle development.
Yeah.
Right?
That sounds great.
Yeah. Okay, I think
Great.
that's
Well,
it.
it's going to see you next Sunday then.
Yeah, for you too, man. Have a good Sunday and see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. Thanks for watching.
And that's it, guys.